ending up with the
See also.
Q.
Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hey, Alex.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Hi,
Hi, good
Serkan.
afternoon.
Hi, Abdul. Hi, Lydia.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Hi.
Good, good.
Just as normal, just going to give everyone a couple of more minutes to join.
Yeah, not a problem because I won't be on video because I'm driving, so I got my Bluetooth on.
Okay, please do be careful, and yes, we don't need to.
Yeah,
we don't
no
need
problem
your video
because
on.
I was blocked by a lorry, so I couldn't go to my destination in time.
Ah, right. Okay, drive safely. Hey,
I
Adam.
shall be there. I shall be there in 15 minutes anyway. Then the camera is going to.
No worries. Okay, great. We'll see you in 15 minutes. Hi, Adam. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Hi.
Okay, just going to give it another minute or two for anyone else coming in. Remember, videos on if you can. I'm going to be finishing my salad quickly, and then my video will be on. Participation in the chat or unmute yourself. Courtney, you're not allowed to have your video on if that's the background you've got, mate. Whereabouts are you? Ah, that. You're banned. Wherever he is, he doesn't have good internet, that's for sure. All right. All right, I think we should get started. Everyone else can catch up. I don't need to do big introductions this week. We've got Selman back to deliver this module. So we're on module 7, organizational design. Please make sure that you update actually, I can see that everyone's name is updated, so that's fantastic. And I'm going to pass over to Selman. If you have any questions for me, feel free to drop into the chat. If you have any questions for Selman, again, drop it into the chat or unmute yourself. But yeah, over to you, Selman.
Jessica, can you let me share my screen because I'm not able to share it? I think I should be authorized.
I can absolutely do that. 1 second. There you go.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, yeah. I think you should be able to see my screen.
We sure can.
Okay, okay, that's good. So, hello, my name is Salman. So I'm going to deliver today organizational design module. So I think you had some modules regarding a management system overall, but today we'll be focusing on organizing function of the management. As you know, management as a whole is a system, so has some functions. One of them is planning, including setting the objectives and making plans to achieve those objectives, outlining the task also, and how to perform these tasks and so on. But organizing function directly focuses on how to find out the relevant resources and how to allocate them. Organizational design is a process of structuring the organization. Depending on the growth of the organization, of course, business people, owner of the organizations are deciding how to structure it. So it's going to be mainly our focus today. That's what I just want to highlight on this point. Okay, yeah, here. So later on, as you know, as common practice for you in this program, you already know it. After this session, later on, you will be having an on-campus session to have a workshop and to discuss and to practice some of the things related to this module. So I would like to start with the business growth. So the question here, let me start with a question. How do you measure your business growth? As the business owner, either it is a small size, medium size, or big company, doesn't matter. How do you understand if you are in a progress, in a development of the growth? There are lots of things we can say that, such as sales, turnover, income, number of the employees you employ, or intention. You have got some plan to improve your business or to grow your business, profitability, productivity, diversification, social impact, perception of your customers, perception of your stakeholders, internationalization, expansion of your business in global market, in global business, or the assets that you have. You may purchase new equipment, machinery, tools, or you can upgrade your existing assets, for instance. That could be an indication of your business growth. Or value-added processes means that a new business process can be integrated into your business. So that could be an indication of your business growth as well. So what else could be? Can you put your own understanding in terms of business growth? How will you understand if your business is growing up? Can you put your answer in the chat box, please? What do you think about it? Which of those options, or could be more than these options? How will you measure your business growth? So actually, how are you doing it in your existing role? Okay, Aaron, profitability and social impact. Okay, all good. So yes, what else could be? Very good. Okay, Adam, it's gross profit increases, market share, employee numbers, perfect. Growth ambition, Serkan, yeah, it's an ambition to have some plans to grow your business. Caliber of Alex, caliber of client and profitability, yeah, in terms of, yeah, the number of the clients and potential clients and the profitability, perfect. Profitability, ban and social impact. Okay, so social impact, which includes the reputation as well, how well your company or your operations are known by the society or by the local community, for instance. Yeah, could be. Yeah, is there anyone else would like to say something on it? Okay. Okay, I think that's fine. So here, mainly, yeah, most of the people will be looking into profitability, of course. Okay, profitability comes first in terms of understanding if your business is growing up. But so all those things are the outcomes of the business. Peter Drucker is a prominent person in management or management thought. So he thinks that business outcomes such as sales, turnover, profit, okay, growth, it's the outcome of the things you did right in your business. So it means that as a sole trader, let's say that you are starting your business, later on you are building up and you're growing it. So finally you have some outcomes. What is this? Mainly it's the profit. Profit, as you say, the gross income, it refers to the profit because there's a difference between the cost and your income. So if your income is more than your cost, it will bring you a profit. And globalization or internationalization, for instance, it means that you're expanding your business across the borders. So it will bring you, finally, once again, a financial yield or financial outcome or a profit. That will be also another indicator of your business growth. But what else we have? We have also a structure. What's the meaning of the structure? The size of the organization. So let me move to the next slide. Also, some processes or process development can be considered in terms of quality. As this, some of the best-known companies are implementing the TQM approach, total quality management systems. So over their quality management systems, they could be also making a social impact on potential clients or potential customers. So that could be also a basis for understanding of the business growth. Growth, that's why we say that, has two different connotations: an increase in amount, such as sales, income, market share, as you mentioned, or as emphasized, productivity, for instance, could be, or increase in size. Increase in size in terms of organizational structure, we think. And one more thing, for instance, we also can highlight the point of efficiency and effectiveness. Effectiveness is a goal-oriented concept, but efficiency is about how to use your organizational resources. That could be your assets, that could be your financial resources, and also human resources. So by human resources could be managerial quality or managerial performance or employee performance as well. On the one side, increasing.
Oh, sorry, Salman, you're muted. That was my fault, sorry.
No problem. In either case, growth refers to the changes in the characteristics of our business and the way of our business operate. So you already have provided your answers in terms of what does growth mean for your company. So as I understood, mainly and the potentially profitability, number of the clients, and quality of your outcomes are the indicators of your business growth. So it's a life cycle for these small businesses, as you have seen on the figure. What is the meaning of that? Like all the other organizations, small size enterprises and small size businesses are born, grow, have a maturity, then they have two ways to go. First is the rebirth, means that like could be a unicorn business, then popping up with expansion or with new organizations or restructuring the organization. It goes like that, or it can go down by ending up the business. At startup level, how it goes on? First, what do you expect? To make the profit, because at startup level, for instance, you have got a business, what do you try to do? You try to survive first, okay? Because you need to cope with the cost of operations at first. So you are seeking at a level. What is the level? It's a break-even point where the cost of operations equals to your income. The later on, you try to increase the product or services, means that sales, you focus on the sales. As well as the sales are going up, it will come with the growth of the organization. Let's say that. And you have got a startup organization, startup business. So you may run it by a sole trader ownership. Could be only you are the owner, you are the manager, you are the employee, means that you are the salesperson, you are the marketing person, you are the operational person, you are the research and development person. All the business functions are run by a single person. So later on in growth process, as well as the income is going up, what do? You employ someone else. Someone else for what purpose? You would like to share your responsibilities and your authority to increase the efficiency of your operations. It will bring some of the advantages. Doubtlessly, we'll be discussing what are the advantages, come up with the growth or managing the growth. Okay, So here, this is a simple life cycle, okay, shows startup, how they start from scratch, okay, with the mostly starting with a limited financial resources. Then later on, depending on the growth, the financial availability, resources availability will be going up, and it will bring a maturity. This maturity includes what? It includes a good management, okay, first of all, a good structuring, a good business process. Depending on management of the maturity, it will result a rebirth, or if it's not managed well, if the efficiency and effectiveness of the process cannot be managed, and unfortunately, it will result the death of the organization. So, unfortunately, a high rate of the small businesses or the startup companies are going with the death is mostly about the managing the cash flow, managing the resources. This is the one of the fundamental reason. As another reason, management. So it's about the lack of the management skills. So the organizations are going down in that case. Okay, so good. One more thing for the maturity level, the hierarchy of the organization is mostly is being changed at maturity level. Okay, so some of the organizations, if they have a foresight, they could prefer to do it at growth level. Growth level is the level should be taken some actions to keep organization more agile. Today, being agile is going to be another key topic of the discussion. Being agile means, organizations have their own specific environment, including their stakeholders, stockholders, suppliers, customers, local government, or legislators. So this kind of, and the competitors as well. The changes in their environment will be impacting their processes as well. So it requires to have a mindset to review all these changes, and as a result of these changes, they need to take action. So they are supposed to be agile. Agility will be bringing them some advantages to have a superior action over the competitors in the environment or in the market. So that's why the growth stage and the maturity stages are very crucial to restructure the organization. So how do you structure the organization? So with respect to your own organization, what do you think? How do you conceptualize? How well you specialize your organization? For instance, how many people you employ in your own organization? So, and also, how do you divide the tasks and the responsibilities among the people that you have in your own organization? Is there any hierarchy within your organization? So if you have got some manager, or if you are the only manager, how many people you are able to manage or you are able to supervise? And what of the complexity of the task which is operated in your own organization? Is there anyone who would like to say something on these matters? How well you specialize the processes and the tasks in your organization? What I mean by this means that, for instance, have you got a specialized person on marketing or on sales or on research and development, or what else we can say that? And production, if you have got a production or manufacturing organization, have you got people to employ in specific to production process? Or there's just someone only providing a customer service, for instance? Or you have limited employees, you have limited staff, they're engaging with more than one business function. Means that you've got just one person for the sales and marketing purpose or sales and marketing processes. You've got just one person engaging with production, service, this means after sales service, or if it's a service organization, could be connecting the customers or finding new customers or new clients potentially, or research and developments also can be handled by a person. Okay, how it works in your organization, how do you decide what responsibilities should be allocated to the people? What's your criteria to distribute responsibilities and the tasks? Okay, that anyone can address this question? Okay, let me go on later on, maybe after explaining the concepts. Okay, let me check. Okay, your chat box, there is Jen. Okay, we have support departments that work across different businesses that generate revenue. Okay, good. So it means that in these support departments, you have got some people that are in charge of managing this process, if I'm not wrong. Okay. So let's go over one by one what I mean by these concepts, because if you want to have a proper and the right structure of your organization, you need to understand these concepts. What's the meaning of the word specialization? It's simply you are outlining specialized fields, such as what I will specify more than, for instance, marketing. Marketing is a special area, needs to have an expertise. Okay, so this is a field. But under marketing, there are some special areas as well. What are the things? Pricing, for instance. Pricing is another area should be specialized. What else? Promotion. What else? Advertisement. Okay, so for instance, advertisement. There is only one person is in charge of advertising the product or services of the organization. Or if it's a small size organization, we can't say that I will be employing a person for advertising, or I will be employing a person for the promotional activities, or I'll be employing a person who will be in charge of the pricing strategy. So if you can't do that, it means that there's only one person to manage all these things. So as well as now the growth is important for that purpose. If your organization is growing in terms of profit, in terms of generating income, in terms of number of the clients, you have to specialize the tasks and also business functions in your organization. So that will push you to restructure your organization. Okay, means that departmentalization. There are lots of different organizational structures can be integrated into an organization, but simply, and one of the most widely used one is the functional structure. It is outlined based on the business functions such as sales, marketing, production, accounting, finance. Regardless of the size of the organization, either it is small, medium, or big company, you have to operate and functionalize all those things. Okay, it doesn't have to be in a separate department. It could be managed by one hand, but finally, all those functions should be operated in a business. So either, let's say that this is a marketing function. So you can go in a narrow specialization on a task, as you have seen on the figure. Okay, so this is a mechanic. So Will has expertise on engine, for instance. Or you can specify the people just focusing on a very specific task, such as just controlling the oil of the engine, even though has a general knowledge on fixing the engine, but specialization on the controlling the oil in engine. Okay, it can be narrow, or just a person is only has expertise on screwing, will be. Okay, so depending on what, depending on the size of the organization. If you are producing lots of products or items, in that case, what you can do in order to take the time advantage and to keep the efficiency in your process, you can have a narrow specialization on tasks and the processes. Here are the examples. In a car mechanic business, does one mechanic specialize in tire replacement, for instance, and the next on more complex work? Or do you train all mechanics to do a range of work? It's a good question. So for instance, for the marketing, could be increase the number of the questions regarding this specialization. In a marketing department or marketing function, do you want to have a person, all marketing tasks and the responsibilities can be possessed, or you want the person specialization on a digital marketing, for instance, or social media marketing, which is best to you? So there might be different answers here, depending on your own context or your own business. You can think in different way. Which one is better from your point of view on with respect to your business? To employ a person with all marketing knowledge, or employing a person with a specialized knowledge? Which one is better to you? In terms of human resource management, so from that point of view, you may think that to seek the efficiency by using limited financial resources, it could be a good idea to employ a person with all knowledge of the marketing. But on the other side, you may think that in order to have better outcomes, better performance from the person, having a specialized employee could be better. And one more thing in specialization, the size of the organization is another point. If you are employing someone, and the person should be supervised as well. So it's about next concept. What is this? Hierarchy. As well as you employ the specialized people with a specific expertise, you need to also employ the managers. That will increase the hierarchy within the organization. What is the hierarchy means? It's the scholar chain, or it's the chain of command. A bottom level position will be reporting the upper one. Okay, there is a reporting system, and also the flow of the information within the organization and follows this hierarchy. Or in another way, you can define it with the vision of the task or division of the responsibility within the organization structure. Because responsibility comes with the authority. Authority means to make a decision with respect to the responsibility. I'm the lecturer, so I've got some responsibilities, but in return, I should be allocated or I should be delegated some of the authority to perform my task. What sort of authority is it? For instance, I should be given an account to access the Zoom. I should be authorized to access the building. I should be authorized to access some platforms to download some of the materials or to access the library. If I have not been given this authority, I cannot perform my assigned tasks and responsibilities. So if you are allocating a responsibility, a corresponding authority should be allocated as well. In small size organization, it is a little bit complicated. Why? Because a person can be allocated more than one functional and task. So in that case, and carefully, the corresponding authority should be allocated and should be delegated from top to bottom of the organization. Means that I have both sales and marketing function responsibility. So I need to make sure that if I have been given the right resources and the right equipment to handle all those tasks. Okay, so this is the first and the primary thing in structuring the organization. As you have seen, in this organization, on top of the organization, there is a CEO or the president of the organization. Later on, there are only two departments over here, production and HR. So what do you think? Isn't there any other department? It shows here, because this is a structure or a manufacturing plant. Behind the figure, there should be also a finance department or finance function. There should be also accounting function, research and development function. What else? Of course, marketing and sales. Even this is a manufacturing plant, still there should be sales and procurement functions as well. Now, with respect to this figure, let's talk about it. It is a tall organization. It's a tall hierarchy. Why? The level of the hierarchies are more. If it was a flat organization, what should be figured on this diagram? What do you think? To make it a flat organization, what sort of hierarchy should be outlined on this figure if this is a tall one? In tall organizations, we are supposed to hire more managers and supervisors. As you have seen here, at the bottom of the organization, there are supervisors, okay? And also head of departments, head of operations, assistant manager, and production manager or HR manager. Managers, assistant managers, head of units, and supervisors from top to bottom of the organization. So how to make it flat? Okay, straight away, Adam, yeah, exactly. If you would like to have a minimum level of the hierarchy, means that everyone is in the organization directly straight away to report the president of the organization. This is the flattest one, we can say that. One means that we need to minimize the level of the managerial positions in the organization. As well as we are able to do this, it's going to be a flat organization rather than a tall organization. And what are the advantages of or disadvantages of the tall organization? Disadvantage, the first thing, the flow of the information could be slower, okay? In tall organization, from bottom to top or from top to bottom, it doesn't matter. In two ways, the flow of the information could be slower compared to flat organization. Whereas bureaucratic cost will be high. What's the meaning of the bureaucratic cost? The cost incurs due to number of the managerial positions. You are paying supervisors, managers more than the others in the organization. So it will create a bureaucratic cost. In tall organizations, bureaucratic costs will be high. If it was a flat organization, as you have given example, Adam, if all the people of the staff are reporting directly to the CEO, in that case, the bureaucratic cost will be less. Okay, it will come up with a cost-efficient management model. Okay, so yeah, this is good. What are the advantages of flat organization? Yeah, it is cost efficient in terms of bureaucratic management or bureaucratic cost. And it will, but on the other side, so Lydia, you think middle management are often useless. Middle management is taking intermediate role within the organization. It's a transition role between the top and the bottom of the organization. So provides flow of the information and flow of the reporting in between the top and also the bottom of the organization. So we can say they're useless, but compared to, because at the bottom of the organization, the managers are in charge of operations. So yeah, we can say that the operational level, managers are taking high level responsibility to for consistency of the operations. Okay, so that's really important. So at the top of the organization, the senior level managers and also top level managers, they are in charge of designing the future of the organization with some strategic decisions. So yeah, we can't ignore the role of the middle level managers, by the way. So we have been working in a flat organization since day one. It works when the work is small or not many requests. Yes, perfect, very good, yes. This is the thing. That's why here we are discussing the tall hierarchy, because as well as your business is growing up, so you have to take the next step. What's the next step? You should departmentalize, you should diversify the task, and you should diversify the functions. So how will you do this? Here, you need to find out how many employees can be supervised by a manager in your organization. Actually, it changes depending on your business. If the tasks and which will be performed in your business are complex, so it means that you can't employ more people under supervision of a manager. If the tasks are very simple, so you can, let's say that you can employ or you can give 20 people to a manager for supervision, okay? That it depends on the structure of the business operations. But it's all good, it should be manageable. Oh, you do peer supervision. It's good. Actually, it's like lean organization, you know, ignoring the not ignoring, we can say that, lowering the impact of the hierarchy could help organizations making a peer supervision or peer review, let's say that. But is it related to the outcome of the performance or just to check or cross-check all the operational quality is important. Good. So Vasily, you can say, okay, let me check these checkbox as well. Okay. The span of control, yeah, was the meaning of that, as I told you, is the number of the people can be supervised by a manager. You need to decide it. Okay, how many people can be supervised by a manager? Here, for instance, in this example, what do you see? Head of account management is responsible for 2 types of the managers. Here, there are 2 account managers, and head of account management is in charge of managing those 2 departments or 2 people. Only 2 people have been allocated to be supervised by head of departments. What are the departments? Head of creative, head of accounting management, and head of production. There are 3 types of, and senior level or top level department in this structure. It could be more, by the way. Okay, so as I told you, sometimes it changes depending on the distance between the units. Okay, if the departments are located in different regions, that could be also a criteria to employ the people under a supervision. But in today's world, you know, by the integration of the high technology, such as you have seen here, Zoom meeting, webinars, this is one of the common practice in now today's organizations. So it can be ignored somehow because it's easier to work in a team or work together through the integration of this high technology. Just to just the complexity or simplicity of the task can be taken as the primary criteria to assess how well the people can be supervised by the managers. This is a project-based or team-based structure. This is also known as the somehow matrix structure. What's the meaning of that? The people can have more than one manager and they can be working towards the accomplishment of the more than one project. So that's why the team-based structure is another one of the best practice in today's organizations, because in IT world, in IT industry, if you are operating in that industry, you're going to see that they've got team-based work. Team-based work, even though there are different project manager presidencies, they can have in their own structure different sort of the departmentalization or role allocation. In first one, as you have seen, team one has a polar organizational structure rather than having a flat one. Compared to others, what do you see? They've got very flat organizational structure. Managers or managerial level is only one in the second one, but in the first one you will see that the bureaucratic cost will be more, as it is a very tall organization compared to others. Matrix structure, in addition to the team-based structure, matrix one covered different projects under an organization. Let's say this is the Sony, for instance. Sony has running different projects in entertainment industry, for instance. On the one side, there is Nintendo, and there on the other side, let's say that, what's the name of the other thing? As PlayStation belongs to Sony, I'm not sure. If it is, let's say that it's another project. So in the meantime, if you are running the different projects by the same company, you are allocating people from various functional departments: accounting, HR, finance, production, research and development. They come together for working on a single project. As soon as they finish the project, they will be going back to their own department. So later on, they'll be employed for another project. Okay, so this is related to team-based structure. In this type of structures, organizations have, people have two managers. One manager comes from the department they are based, and also one manager is going to be project manager. Okay, so let's, in this example, what do you see? Manufacturing and supplies. So head of supplies, head of manufacture, head of finishing, and manager bespoke projects. And depending on the project, they've got their project manager. As the core concept, this is centralization versus decentralization. Most in flat organization, it's more centralized compared to all organizations. Most of the decisions are made by the top of the organization. Okay, this is a centralized organization. In decentralized one is on the opposite form of this centralized. Decision-making authority is delegated to the people or groups within the organization. Means that from top to management, there is a delegation of the authority to make the decision. In tall organization, inevitably, organization should be decentralized. Okay, the delegation of the authority should be properly done in tall organization. The tall organizations can be agile, as well as this delegation can be made properly. Otherwise, decision-making mechanisms and also processes will be very slow. If still the decisions are expected from top of the organization. Even in flat organization that can be centralized, doesn't matter, or decentralized, still the flat organization can be decentralized as well. It will increase the creativity of the organization, as well as the more people are involved in decision-making processes, that will promote the creativity in the organization. And the decisions will be espoused by the people, and it will be increasing the implementation of the decisions as well. Okay, so I don't know how is in your organization. Is it a decentralized or centralized structure in your organization? Who makes the decision? Only the top manager or the owner of the business, or decision-making is delegated with respect to the expertise of the people? In the literature, there are lots of studies appreciating the importance of delegating the authority. But somehow, even though the decentralized structures are most widely promoted, well, we can say that in some instances, organization needs to be centralized depending on the circumstances. If the organization needs to be agile, a decentralized organization is more favorable. But if the organization is not interested in being agile against the changes in the environment of the organization, so a centralized structure can be preferred. One more thing, it is, okay. Okay, Adam, you think you got a centralized organization maybe too much so times. Okay, so many times. Yeah, that's the thing. Because decentralization also will be improving the ability of the staff and the ability of the people as well. Because sometimes advancement opportunities are given to the people, but what you are looking for the right qualification and the skills. It's a way of developing the skills of the people as well. Decision-making skills, for instance, okay? So you can also improve by the delegation of the authority in decision-making as well. And sometimes in a centralized structure, it's really taking time to make a decision. Why? You are waiting a few of the people to make the decision. And still, it could be time consumption for decision making. But in decentralized one, as the delegation is more and decisions can be quicker than the centralized organizations. And the decentralization can be supported by diversity in the organization. Because when you recruit the people who are the same in terms of background, experience, expertise, so the decisions will be in the same way. But if you're employing the people from different background, disciplines, skills, abilities, in terms of gender, in terms of, culture, and they will bring different opinions and different perspectives on existing matters and existing issues. So that will promote also creativity and diversity in decisions. So there's another thing, could be supporting organizational structure. Okay, so here, what do you see on the figure? There are two photos here, okay? Is there any difference? What are the differences in between two photos? Okay, let me go back a second. Yeah, here. Age range, okay, yes, Sarkhan, absolutely. There's an average age in the first photo. In the second photo, age range is very wide, we can say. Well, it's narrow in the first one. Better mix of genders. In which one, Aaron? In the second one, yes, exactly. Better mix of the genders, good. And yes, Jess, gender and diversity, we say that. Okay, Aaron, thank you. Adam, right side, look happier. Okay, very good. So there is a correlation, looks like. If they're happier, why are they happier? Because they've got a very colorful photo here. The first one, as you have seen, is gray, but the second one is very colorful. Yeah, formal, very good, Jess. Yeah, and more inclusive family life. Yeah, it's more informal, let's say that. Is another aspect of the organizational structure. And now later on, we'll be talking on it. Some organizations become more formal, and some of them are more family vibe, let's say that, and family culture. Because in the literature, there is a cultural discussion. Some of the organizations are named. This is a family clan or family and culture they've got. Very good. Yeah. It's so simple, we can say that diversity is more in the second photo, okay? It's more colorful and gender diversity is available there, but in the first photo is very, very limited. And the age range, okay, it is, and the second photo is more compared to first one. So the second one is more informal. The first one is very formal because here you see there the dressing, okay, it's very formal. And mostly it influences the relations and the communication between the people in the organization as well. Most likely, let's say that, in the second, based on the second photo, we can say that the communication is more flexible and understandable. And I think the flexibility is more in the second, the organizational form, we can say. Okay, so yeah, this is
Are we supposed to be hearing something?
Can you hear?
No. Can anyone else hear?
No.
No.
Okay, let me try to arrange it after the break time. We can listen it because I need to share my sound. I think let me check it here. Yeah, here. I think you should be able to hear now.
Garden Perspectives 18 months ago
You
now.
can hear, is that right? So let's give 10 minutes break. Then when we are back, we can listen and start from here. So
perfect. Okay, great. Can so everyone go take 10 minutes. We'll be back just after 2. Still a bit of content to get through. So see you just after 2. Enjoy your break. See you in 10 minutes.
see you in 10 minutes.
Okay, everyone, just let us know when you're back. Either camera on or a reaction. Something to show me that you're alive and well. Thanks, Angela. Thanks, Erin. Thanks, Alad. Adam, Lydia, Vinicius, Stillies. Okay, I think we're good to go, Selman. Back over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Welcome back. So what I see as message on chat. Yeah, for Courtney. Yeah, good. Okay, you run your small business flats. You've found successfully managed 6 people. However, when you moved to 7 to 8, very much struggled. Okay, creating automation in your workflow, building company processes, and making sure that at least 2 people in the company understand how to do every single job has really helped. So actually, it's aligned with the Pareto rule. You know the Pareto rule, just 20% will bring you the higher or highest productivity. So it's just proof of the Pareto rule, I think. So one more thing, maybe after looking into your people's qualification, maybe you need to have a look also the number of the feasible employees can be supervised by a manager in your own organization. In that case, maybe you need to hire a supervisor to manage those. Some of those guys might be helping you in that case. So let me share my screen and then we'll be starting with, oh, sorry. Okay, this is the video record. And we'll be briefly explaining the experience of diversity in a new role. So here, let's hear it.
I took over Garden Perspectives 18 months ago now. It wasn't without its challenges.
Sorry, the sound just dropped out, Selman.
Just a second, yeah.
I took over Garden Perspectives 18 months ago now. It wasn't without its challenges. I think that the traditional management team, who are all still within the company, I should add, my role really.
Oh, what happened?
Really has been to take over as the assistant manager and run the company, but we do still have all of the founder members still as part of the team and certainly still on the board. Now, when I first took over, I brought a quite different point of view, quite a different way of working. So I think because I came from a marketing perspective, whereas they are very much more from a traditional manufacturing background, I was much more interested in what do customers think of our products. I also have that approach that says, what about our internal customers? And by that, I actually mean the people who work for us. So what do they think about how we're running things? And do they have any ideas that could improve the way things work within their own departments? And it brought up some very surprising results. We found that our product lines were very high quality. They were regarded as being on the very expensive side, and that was a real opportunity for us. So we created the bespoke finished line. So we have a range of bespoke finishes, which are premium and which attract a higher cost, higher price, and so they are much more profitable in that respect. We also had quite a few suggestions from within in terms of the way we structured the departments. So I found that there were some areas of conflict or misunderstanding between departments, and I was able to just smooth that over and make it the line manager's responsibility to ensure better sharing of information, what I was taught as knowledge transfer, if you like. So it's not been without its difficulties. but moving to this, what I would call customer first approach, has definitely led to better profits and better performance over the last 18 months. And we've all stayed friends. You know, the traditional and the new have managed to really work together, I think. And the traditional management side has really made sure that we've got the best quality product. And I hope that my taking over of the day-to-day management side has meant that we've turned that into profit, because we're better differentiated, and people know what Garden Perspectives now stands for and why we're better than the competition.
Okay, yeah. What is the message of this interview? What do you think in terms of diversity? Was the experience of the manager? Indeed, she's got a good experience in an area. This is a marketing. So she's a marketing expert, but when you arrive at the company, yes, good to get different perspectives, because there's a traditional approach and most of the people's expertise in manufacturing, but as the manager, she has got experience in marketing mostly. But finally, at first, she has some contradictions and some worries about combining or bringing her own experience into management side, but later on, with a good engagement and also a cooperation with the traditional and the people, let's say, so it results a good profit, and also this diversity brings that good outcomes for the organization. So that's all good, that supports. The more diversity could bring more efficient and effective results for the organization. Okay, so the last thing in terms of structuring the organization, this is going to be another criteria here. Yeah, formalization, as we remember it from the two different photos. On the one side, there was a more formal structure, and on the other side, there is a more informal vibe on photos. So what are the meanings of those things? In formal structures, the processes are always on a written statement. So every policy, every rule is written, and so with respect to those rules and the policies, the organization implements also the behaviors are shaped with respect to those written documents. And the decisions are mostly taken on those written documents. But you see, you think mostly, I don't know how it is in your own organization, it is in small or medium-sized organization goes informal. The number of the written documents are very limited in terms of shaping the activities and also the implementation of these tasks. So, and also even the career path is very clear. The advancement opportunities and the processes are very clear on these written processes. Job descriptions, job specifications, they're all well-defined, and organizational charts are clearly depicted by a formal structure in the organization. But informal organization, let's say in terms of structure, mostly it goes on unwritten, understanding also the rules. There are some rules and norms in the organization, of course, but it's not written. And sometimes we say that it's flexible. And depending on the personality and also owner of the organization, it is shaped. So the culture is influenced by the beliefs and also the values of the entrepreneur or organization owner. And sometimes it could be tacit. What's the meaning of tacit? It's unseenable, okay, not always visible. It could be in the minds of people that are the owners or the shareholders of the organization. So most of those are the norms. Was the thing that really care about in these organizations, the commitment. There is always a shared vision, but this vision cannot be written. but a philosophy is created by the organization, and it is expected to be committed to those the shared values and also vision of the organization. So interaction is more flexible and more informal in this organization. Sometimes departmentalization is rarely available, but the responsibilities, of course, are allocated to the various people and the various group. But there are no certain or division or separation of the tasks, or sometimes it could be transmissible across the tasks or across the processes. Okay, this is the last criteria. In your workshop session, you will be having a study. I'll just refer it to there. This is, you are supposed to describe your own organization, your current structure, your span of control and hierarchy, chain of command, degree of centralization, and formal rules. How well you are implementing those things in your own organization. So you will be defining what structure you have. Is it flat or is it a tall organization? In terms of span of control, actually, a good example was given by, let's hear, Courtney, and as he did here. So you're supposed to do the same thing, and the span of control, how many employees you can supervise in your own organization efficiently. Because in his example, he says that, okay, only 6 people were very effectively be manageable, but when I add the 7th and the 8th one, it was difficult. I was struggling to manage it. For instance, this sort of examples. And chain of command, who to report whom. Okay, this is going to be how it works in your own organization. Have you got managers, or you are the only manager, or you have got a superior one to report it? So this reporting, how it works, does it work on some reporting system? The formal, is there any formal structure, or it goes in informal way? Okay, are there certain rules, written documents to our policies, or whatever it is, how it goes on? You need to explain it. And degree of centralization, how well decision-making process is delegated from top to bottom in your own organization. If there is only one person, maybe, okay, to make all the decision in an organization, it is possible if this is a small size organization, but if it is a medium size, most likely there are more than one person to make some decision for the organization. So this is going to be your task in your workshop session. It's going to be on campus. Okay. So now business agility. So as you can guess, we try to emphasize in the first session was the thing, how fast you are able to react against the changes in your business environment. Okay. So for instance, what you are doing, you are keeping your eyes on the market to see the changes such as prices. Okay. Your competitors are increasing the prices. So, or your competitors are implementing a new marketing process, a new marketing way, and it's very effective. What you do, you also make some changes in your marketing process as well. Or there's a new way of production, which has been found out by another competitor. So what you try to do, you try to imitate it, or you try to integrate it, or you try to do better, or you try to find a better way to produce it. But how fast you do it? Because in a competition, sometimes time is an important matter, as you know. The first mover advantage there is in terms of strategy development, there's a first mover advantage. Let's say that smartphone is an industry, is that right? Who is the first mover in this industry? You know it as a company. Who is the first mover in smartphone industry? Nokia. Nokia was in cellular phone, but I'm not sure if it was on smartphone. The final product, in marketable product, as I know, is Apple. So Apple was the taker or the first mover advantage. Okay, so it will give you a fast acceleration and penetration to the market, right? So it means that if you are the innovator, if you are the first mover in any innovation, it could be process, it could be product, it doesn't matter, or it could be marketing, or it could be, you know, procurement, it doesn't matter. You've got a very specific resource, for instance, in your production that could give you a competitive advantage over the others. So that's why being agile or business agility is very, very important. In today's world, inevitably, in any industry, it's almost a global market. Okay? By the integration of the internet and such kind of technologies, it's keeping your business in a global market. You think that even your target customers in a domestic or local market, still you can be influenced by the global impact or global and the markets. So here, being agile, agility is very important. But it comes from business agility. Actually, it comes from the IT world, okay? Because there is a methodology in IT software development environment. This is called as the agile software development. You know, in IT world, mostly they work in wide range of the teams. As we have seen the structure, team-based structure, it could be also project-based structure as well. In IT work, it is working in a project-based team. So in 1990s, as the software projects became more complex with respect to the expectation of the clients and the customers, so many people are finding that traditional project management techniques were unsuitable. Why they were unsuitable? Because the customers are expecting more features. Project is starting, then they send some additional requests to add some figures and configurations and also some features, or removing some features, because it's a very dynamic industry, as you know. There are lots of software applications and the software and the platforms. Another one is emerging, and another one is in the market can destroy the others. So in that case, the software developers should be very agile against the new developments in the market and in the environment. In February 2001, a group of software developers met to discuss how they had been experimenting with new approaches to software projects, and they created the Manifesto for Agile Software Development. There's another one, is the waterfall methodology in IT software development. But Agile is very, very popular, and also it is integrated in the business world, and that's why the business is supposed to be agile, we say that. On the one side, there is a predictive planning for developing a project. What's the meaning of that? You always predict the next step if you don't have any consideration to make any update in your project. But adaptive planning, as you have seen here, it goes on like that. With respect to the expected changes or updates, it can go down or up in the process. So this is a question, a good question. How agile do you need to be? Means that with respect to your own industry and your own organization, you should be at a level being agile. But at what level of your organization should be agile? Or which part of your business face uncertainty and which have a stable operating environment? Means that, let's say that in your own industry, the prices are very stable. Okay, let's say that. But the marketing instruments is very dynamic. Means that there are always new ways of, or new methods of marketing. So you need to be agile in terms of marketing process in that case. Or the production systems is very dynamic in your industry, okay? Or the range of the products. There is always an update in your industry in terms of product configuration. So in that case, you should keep your research and development and the process very dynamic and very agile. As soon as your competitor is developing a new configuration or new feature, you need to take action to update your own Okay, so could be. Or you could have some challenges in terms of finding raw materials. In the industry, there is, let's say that, those are the random examples. In your own on the industry, for instance, could be finding the right material without harm and to produce your product. That could be always a strive to find a new materials to produce your product. Okay, that could be uncertain thing or uncertain aspect of your business. On the other side, you may have some stable things. Let's say that financial resources, okay? It could be affordable financial resources in your own business. So that could be very stable and predictable in your own business. So here, personally, so you can have different opinions on this matter. Which parts of your business face uncertainty and which have a stable operating environment? Okay, is there anyone could address this question? Which parts of your business face uncertainty and which have a stable operating environment? I'm keeping my eyes on the chat box as well. You've got any idea?
For us, it's maybe like our uncertainty would be around like income over the next 5 years, whereas our stability is definitely in social impact.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Who else?
Anyone else?
No one? Okay, let me go on. So let's discuss it in higher education. What do you think in terms of learning and development? Which parts of higher education could face uncertainty? Can go on this example. With respect to the generation's expectation, okay, you need to, so we need to find out the right materials or the tools to engage the people. And in today's, to keep the people focus on a subject is a really difficult thing because the search engines and internet-based resources are keeping people very busy in terms of wide range of the information. But it's really difficult to clarify the right information and the right knowledge in these massive or accumulated information. So it will be difficult to specialize on the knowledge with the relevant experience. So that could be, I think, an uncertainty for the future. Integration of the AI technology, this artificial intelligence, is making also some challenges for the development of the people as well. Making easier, to get some of the things over these integrated systems like ChatGPT, as you know, this is one of the most popular one as I know, but there are also some others can be used. What you need to do, you need to write an essay, for instance. What you are doing, you're just putting some keywords on a ChatGPT, then you've got the document, it's ready to go. You're just making some amendments to submit your work. So it is a big obstacle to learn something new. Okay, so to motivate the people for learning new things is going to be a challenge for the near future. So which have a stable operating environment? Which aspect has a stable operating environment? The thing is in terms of resources, still it could be a question for the higher education, but still research facilities and the research activities has a more stable ground and operating environment compared to teaching aspect, we can say that. Okay, where you face change, how frequent is the change? The change itself is, a challenge because it's an ongoing process. There's always a change. Let's say that if you go back to 2 years ago, it was not a common practice to deliver the lectures or to deliver the trainings on the over the Zoom or over the such kind of software applications online. We had only the traditional ways to teach, but today there are lots of applications we are using in delivery of the teaching. Zoom is not only for instance, you are using a platform to reach out your materials. Okay, this is one thing. Or you have got also some recording tools to do that. There's Panopto, for instance, is another one. And also Aula is another virtual learning environment platform we use. Microsoft Teams to deliver online sessions is another platform. Zoom is one of the most popular ones to do this. So as you have seen, only within the last 2 years, let's say, or 3 years, integration of so many different systems is a widely used approach. So integrating the people into these systems, it's a change, and also it is a challenge as well. Okay, sometimes when we face uncertainty, we make a plan because it's comforting, or so we can decide to stick with a plan that is not working due to changing conditions. So this is known as the plan continuation bias. Or when you have you stuck with a plan that wasn't working. So what do you need to do? You always look for an action plan to take into place. So that's the thing. Yeah, okay. So how to design an agile organization? This is exactly what we need. If you really need an agile organization, how to do this? We already have discussed some criteria to structure an organization. Now, work specialization. Broad work specialization is needed. So what's the meaning of that? You need to allocate as well as you do. You need to narrow specialization. On the one side, let's assume that if it's a marketing-based organization, you need to employ people for the social media marketing. On the other side, you need to have also a traditional marketing people, maybe some promotional based processes. You need to employ people for the promotional strategies. Overall, you can employ people. So as well as it's becoming broader, that will increase the effectiveness of the process. So being agility requires to have broad work specialization. And T-shaped skills means that the people will be having skills towards the accomplishment of that specialized task or specialized process. And cross-functional teams. It refers to the diversity indeed. Cross-functional teams means, if you remember the team-based structure, what we had different type of the teams. For each team, the people should come across the different functions. One person, or could be more than one person, doesn't matter. From accounting, another one is coming from finance, one is from research and development, one is from human resource management, one is from procurement. But in the end, we've got different people from different backgrounds and the different functions and the same team. That will increase the diversity of approaching to the problems and also the project. So it will promote, hopefully, creativity and will make the team more agile, as different expertises will be bringing different or wide range of the solutions to the problems. Hierarchy. And it's another thing, rather than having a taller organization being more flatter, will be giving an advantage in terms of agility. So in a hierarchy, we need to take into consideration of being flatter as an organization. And delegation of the decision-making authority within the organization is also another thing to be considered. What's the meaning of that? As well as of course, depending on the organizational complexity, we can decide it. Pushing information and delegating decision-making authority will be making organization more agile. And invert the hierarchy to be a support structure. So it's not a thing that cannot be changed. First of all, we need to understand hierarchy will be helping a proper work of the organization. So if it doesn't work, means that, okay, you have to make some amendments in your structure. So hierarchy just only for helping organization goal accomplishment, nothing else. So it doesn't have to be used as a source of power over the others to make them more stressful. So it should bring some flexibility to the people in their task performance and also decision making. In terms of span of control, actually it is aligned with the flatter organization. In flatter organizations, span of control is wide. It means that you can employ or you can allocate, as well as you can do, more people under supervision of a manager. First, you need to simplify the structure of the task in that organization. So large span of control will be helping towards agile organization. Less about control and more about support. Rather than spending your energy on controlling the organization, you have to spend your organization to support others in the organization. This is mostly duty of the managers. Managers should create that vibe in the organization, okay? And being supportive, and rather than being decision maker, being participative, being a person to provide suggestions to the people is going to be more convenient for the business agility. May need to be smaller span of control for the teams that needs lots of support. It means that who needs the more support? If you are employing junior staff, so you can't do a large span of control. It could be narrow, okay, compared to the others. Or if the task structure is very complex, so you can't allocate more people to be controlled by a manager. So you need to simplify the task, or you need to diversify the team structure in terms of qualification and the skills. And chain of command, decentralized decision-making as priority in terms of creating a business agility. Give people outcomes to achieve. So there's a management system, it's known as the management by objectives. So it will also lower the importance of the hierarchy, by the way. The people should believe in their objectives. It should be set by the discussion with the managers, and they should work towards the accomplishment of their own objectives. Their personal objectives should be aligned with the overall organizational objectives and departmental objectives. This is simply management by objectives. it was developed by the Peter Drucker, and he taught that you don't need to push the people by a close supervision. Their own objectives will be giving a direction to the people in that organization. As well as the people are able to accomplish their objectives, they should be remunerated, they should be rewarded by the organization. So their objectives should be inspirational and should give them an opportunity for the satisfaction and provide decision-making authority. And there are two things, as I try to emphasize the importance of those things, because regardless of the organizations, it's one of the most problematic thing in the organizational structuring. This is allocating right responsibility and corresponding authority. Unfortunately, mostly how it happens, even though the responsibility is allocated to the people, the corresponding authority is rarely allocated. Okay, you don't have the power, but you have to accomplish something. Okay, it doesn't work. There will be always some problems due to this leading organization by delegation of the authority, or wrong delegation of the authority. Let's say that. You are accountable, you are responsible, but you don't have the power. It doesn't work. Okay, so that's why this authorization is a critical thing in organizational structuring. Except there is no right answer. It should be always flexible in terms of understanding or trying to understand if it is a new way or new perspective on existing thing. You should always be suspected on new ideas and new perspective. Okay, so there is no right answer. There is always a new or a better way to reach out. So formalization. So as it can be predictable, agile companies or agile businesses tend towards less formalization, because less formalization coming up with and flexibility. Flexibility ensures being more agile. Simple, repeatable processes lend themselves to high levels of formalization. Complex processes and environments require less formal and more adaptable approaches. Okay, so this is, I think, the last thing. So here, there are different departments, as you can see here. And finally, it ends with the creation of products and services. In Department A, there are 3 teams, as you have seen, starting with with some process. Let's say that it could be a manufacturing department, for instance, or a procurement department. They are allocating right resources, could be raw materials, equipment, tools, and something. Department B, there are 2 things to handle obtained resources. Okay, so Department C, it could be a production department. Okay, because there are lots of things there with different or diversified tasks, as you have seen. And then it moves on to the next department. What is this? This is quality control department. In quality control department, how it goes on, the detection of defective product or services are outlined. So with respect to that, finally, it goes to distribution. Okay, so finally it's distributed to the customers. So it is, as you have seen, this is slowly time, one by one, it's starting from a department to finalize the production system. So let's say that there is a problem in Department B. Okay, there's a stock. Well, what's going to be? So it will stop there. If it's a production, okay, it will stop there, and it will hinder the delivery of the product on time. So how it works? If it is due to lack of qualified staff, what should we do? We need to take into action to improve the teams in that case. Or the teams should be working across the units to replace each other, okay? So it will increase the understanding of each function across the units, across the department. And that will facilitate the work of and the processes better in that organization. In most production organizations or manufacturing organizations, time is a serious matter because there is always a target to achieve. If this is a company with working with the existing customers, and also the delivery should be on time. Okay, in team-based structures, as it was here you can see that team comes from different departments. So across the units, there is an expertise of the people from Department B, Department C, and Department D. We combine the team and we make the team. In first examples you have seen, the team is in Department A, is in charge of only, or has the experience and the knowledge specific to Department A functionality, and in Department B as well, and Department C. But in team-based structure, what we have, in Department A, there's a team, but in Department B, C, D, there's a team across the units or across the departments. So it will be helping organization to have a taking quick action and a quick lead time. There is always, in a project or in a team, there's a team lead or a project manager is in charge of managing this process. So they should be also more flexible and open. They should be also open to new ideas and new opinions to lead these teams as well. Okay, there's an example here from a company. Empson is a great service by great people. It's the website. You can also visit there. The only way ahead is to trust the people who serve customers with the freedom to treat them however they wish. So what do you understand from that statement? If this is the company coming with this mission, what do you see? This company is giving a higher level of the flexibility to their customers. But what it says, however they wish. Okay, so the customers should be treated with the freedom to treat them however they wish. How you can predict it? It's unlimited. Okay, they can come with anything, but they say that that level of flexibility can be provided or not. Of course, it's not possible always to provide this flexibility, but this is the mindset of the organization. We have an upside-down management structure with the chief executive officer at the bottom. Oh, that's really good. How is it possible? We have an upside-down management structure with the chief executive officer at the bottom. Is that possible to keep the chief executive officer at the bottom of the organization? If you are talking about the C-level the managers, what comes to your mind? First, top of the organization, you think it. Okay? But what it says, the messages here was the thing. We don't mind the hierarchy in this organization, okay? There is a role allocation, okay? This role allocation could include some of the tasks to be performed, but it doesn't mean that even the C-level managers are superior to anyone to satisfy the needs of their customers' needs. Their main focus is to create a flexible organization to address the needs of their customers. That's why even that could be an upside and down changes or transitions, including C-level managers. So another thing here, when we recruit new staff, we look for personality above all else. We are not bothered about CVs, qualifications, or even sometimes what candidates say in interview situations. So the personality. What does it mean by personality? So do they ignore the skills and abilities? Just they are looking for the right personality? Is that what we understood? Or something else here? We are not bothered about CVs, qualifications, or even sometimes what candidates say in interview situations. As a person, would you employ someone who is really good personality, or someone has a really good personality, but in terms of qualification is very weak, then doesn't have a good communication skill, or technical skill is very, very low? Would you employ that person as he or she is very, very good person? Doesn't have any idea how to perform, but very good person. Very good personality.
I think it depends on the role. Experience is obviously extremely important. But if it's a role that really requires a certain skill, it has to be a balance. There has to be a balance. But if it's a role that is about, like, for us, like community management, you need the skill is essentially they have to be a really good person. So I think you can also teach skills. You can't teach personality is one of the things that I've sort of come across in my life. But again, you also need those those marketing experts or those event experts at times. So that would be my perspective. I don't know, Chanu, what do you think?
Yeah, Chanu is typing in the chat box, and he thinks there has to be some balance of personality and skills. Okay, but Jan is agree with you and says depends on the role. Okay, as you emphasize.
We have employed, or I have employed in the past, purely down to the personality. I think personality is not if a person is good or bad, as the ethics I was talking about, but it also a can-do attitude, which cannot always portray on the CV. It comes across as an energy on the communication that you have with that person.
Yeah.
And yeah, it can work both ways. It can go bad or it can go good. And it has gone good in my decision on a specific person.
Yeah, very good. So there's another thing, for instance, as we figured out some of the examples, team-based work or team-based and the processes. So it means that you are bringing someone into that team. So that's really important to understand the personality, how well the person is keen on to work in a team. Okay, so if we'll be able to cope with the challenges of being a member in a team. Okay, so that's why, yeah, you're right. There's another thing, the importance of the role that you're employing. In that case, maybe you can give a priority, personality as the primary criteria to employ the people, but you can't completely ignore the qualification or the skills of the people as well. And you need to also take into account, in my opinion, the skills. Yeah, Aaron, a good point as well. Lots of skills are transferable, or as also Jess emphasized, you can teach, okay, you can train, could be. But having the personality traits that want to learn, and exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. So you've got someone with some characteristic, right? Doesn't want to learn or doesn't open to learn new things, for instance. So that could be an obstacle to develop some skills and also abilities as well. Elliot, okay, there's a great formula I learned sometimes which goes like that: attitude and experience, okay, results to quality. So you need to bring
attitude multiplied by experience is what's kind of like the quality of the person, but the attitude can go from -100. Sorry, I brought -1, but from -100 to +100, while experience can obviously go from 0 to 100. So if the attitude is really shit, then the quality of the person, no matter how much experience they have, is not going to be good. So
Okay.
yes, I always aim for attitude, because skills nowadays, you can almost Google everything you need to know, and you can find a lot of the things online. Experience is very important, like Jess mentioned, but I think if the attitude is not right, then the person just not going to be successful in their role.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for your all contributions. That's all good. So yeah, it was an example from there. And yeah, the last thing, do we have time? How many minutes we have got? Doing
Got
section
another
4,
7 minutes.
7 minutes. Okay, let's see. A few things maybe we can mention, but later on you can have a look at this document and it's already reachable to you. So here I just want to emphasize the importance of something like what are the things that could take you to grow your business, or sometimes availability of the financial resources can bring you some advantages, or it can provide you a ground to build and to grow your business. Sometimes staffing right people with as you have emphasized, for the personality or qualification, finding the right people, because compared to big companies, the small or medium-sized companies have some disadvantages in terms of this function or this process. Or you need to make sure that you have got right structure, right processes. You need to make sure that you are able to understand the dynamics of your industry where you operate, or you need to be innovative due to structure of your business, or you need to create, or you need to understand the ecosystem of your industry and these sort of things. There is a concept in the literature, this is known as the dynamic capabilities. There are two types of firms' capabilities believed: operational and dynamic capabilities. The difference, the capabilities that are dynamic allow your business to strategically create, extend, and modify its current resource to grow and to gain competitive advantage. Actually, it means it refers to the sustainability. You've got something, okay, as a capability, you are very good at doing that. Let's say that. It could be management. Okay, your management ability could be your dynamic capability. So you can recreate it or update it. You can extend it or you can modify it. Or it could be your innovation. You are able to create more innovative ways, or you can extend the dimension of your creativity or your innovation, or you can modify. And with respect to the innovative ideas, your processes, your products, okay, your organizational structure. So anything that the company has in terms of capability that could result a competitive advantage over the others in the market. So here, actually, the importance of the dynamic capabilities or capabilities, as well as they bring a sustainable competitive advantage. If this is the thing that could be imitated by the others in the market, there cannot be a sustainable competitive advantage in that case. They are dynamic because they reflect your business capacity to respond to uncertainty while developing its resources. That's the thing that could also help you to cope with the uncertainty in the market. So yeah, it's not for the predictable purposes, let's say that. So how it works with the agility enables employees to work across functions where they create self-adjusting teams in different parts of the business. So organizational agility is the manifestation of dynamic capabilities, but also it is nurtured by dynamic capabilities, the ability to respond to changes. Sometimes it could be a process you have in your organization, but sometimes it could be an asset that you have. These assets mostly, sometimes it could be intangible things such as reputation, for instance. Reputation is not seenable, okay, it's not seenable, but it's the asset that you have. And if it provides you a competitive advantage over the others, so you can facilitate it as the dynamic capability. Capability being able to do something better than the others, or is the only thing that you have, but the others do not have in the industry. Okay, let's say that's all thing for today. And any question, anything that you would like to add?
Are there any questions from anyone? No.
No, that was great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was
Thanks,
very
Ben.
good to me having you all today. Thank you very much for all your contributions. Hope to see you on a campus in a day. I don't know what day are you coming on campus.
We're on campus in a couple of weeks. We were just there last week. But thanks everyone for your contributions today. Remember that we've got peer groups on Thursday, 10 till 11, 11 till 12, 12:30 till 1:30, 1:30 till 2:30. Thanks for nodding along with me, Jen. Please make sure that you can come to one of those. Again, if you can't make your normal one, please jump in. Please jump in any of those 4 sessions. If you could flick me an email to let me know, just because last week we only had Shanu show up to his normal session and we had no one else. So Shanu came back an hour later to join a bigger group session, which is absolutely fine, but it would be good to make sure that we've got a few people in each session and not mess anyone around. But yeah, fantastic. We've got loads to talk about in Thursday's peer group sessions and I look forward to seeing you all then. Sounds like I'm in a disco in here at the moment. Sorry, my workspace music is very loud. But yeah, thank you so much, Salman, and enjoy the rest of your week, everyone. See you Thursday.
Thank you. See you
Bye-bye.
later.
See you
Have a
later.
nice day. Bye.
Thanks, Salman. Take care.
Bye.